Hi, Miss Sugiyama, or maybe Mr. Robertson. I don't really know who's going to end up watching this. This is the book that I chose. Might not be able to see it. There. I might put up a bigger picture on the screen. And it is the 12th book in the series. It's a lot of books, and I've read every single one that came before it. You can see on the back, actually, I'll just put up a picture on the screen as a back cover. So that you can see just how many books there are. So, to start us off, the genre of this book is obviously adventure. It's an adventure book about, well, like a teenager who goes on a spy adventure. It's adventure themed, of course. Now, let's get into the summary. The summary of this book, well, I can't exactly start with this book, can I? There's, of course, 11 books that came before it, as it is the 12th book in the series, which means that I need to go through each one. But I'll start you off with the basic story for the first book. Our main character, Ben Ripley, went to a normal middle school, junior high, whatever, in a random town outside of Washington, D.C. He played a computer game all the time because he loves spy stuff, but of course he's not that kind of person. He hasn't trained to be a spy, but he's good at the plans. He's good at the plans of spy things. And so the CIA basically calls him and says, "Hey, do you want to come to spy school?" So then he comes to spy school undercover. His parents think that he just got a scholarship to a fancy boarding school, but instead of a fancy boarding school, he's learning spycraft. But from the time that he gets there, there's always something going on. That's why there's 12 books, and in the time scale of this series, it's like 2 years that's gone by through this series. So, first book. Let's see, I'll throw a picture of them up as I say them. I'm going to go through all the books, or at least all the important ones that I remember. First book, Spy School. He saves Spy School from a bomb planted by someone who went to the school. Great. Spy Camp, he saves Spy Camp, kind of. He saves Spy Camp from being blown up, but he also saves the president by being blown up from a huge missile. Evil Spy School. He saves, I think, New York from being blown up by more missiles. It's always missiles. Spy Ski School. He saves Colorado from being blown up by a nuclear bomb by defusing it. Yes, he does do that. Spy School Secret Service. He saves the president from an assassination attempt. Spy School Goes South. He saves basically the whole world from being destroyed by his nemesis. And yes, he does have a nemesis throughout all of these books. From his nemesis blowing up Antarctica and melting the polar ice caps, which is bad. So he saves that from happening. Spy School British Invasion. Goes to Britain. Don't really remember what happens there. Spy School Revolution. Also, sorry, don't really remember what happens there. I think he comes back and does something with revolutionary equipment and foils another scheme, of course. Spy School at Sea. He goes on a huge cruise, gets thrown off the back, and then goes back onto the cruise and saves the Panama Canal from being blown up by the cruise ship. Spy School Project X. Spy School blows up. It's sad. Yeah, Spy School blows up, and then he has to flee to Alaska. Spy School Goes North. That's the newest one before this one. They basically build a training camp in the north, and then Russians attack them, I think. I kind of forget. It was a kind of boring book. But then this one, let's get into this book now. So, book starts off having, basically they're in their Alaskan training camp, right? They just get back from a full day of hiking in the rain. They're all mad about that, but then their principal from the old school, the old spy school that got blown up, basically comes back and says, "Hey Ben, we have a mission for you. Your nemesis, Murray Hill, basically escaped." So he's like, "Okay, sure, I'll come with you." But then the principal's like, "None of your other friends can come with you." They're all mad about that. But soon we figure out why. It's because it's a plot to kidnap Ben. Because basically, one of the other criminal masterminds that he's foiled in the past, his brother basically paid the principal to kidnap him. And after that, he ends up being flown to China, where a bunch of Chinese slaves are being forced to do manual labor by this kidnapper. So, that is where Ben escapes. He gets away from the office, but he catches a glimpse of some plans in the office that look legal, let's put it that way. They escape, but it turns out they're not in China. They're in Africa. I'll get back to you later on that. It's confusing. So, they're in Africa, headed home, trying to get home. But then, after walking through Africa, they get picked up by some people who work for, like, basically the National Park Association for whatever African country they were in. I think it was Botswana. And they help him out and try and start driving him back. But then they get a call that there's poachers and he needs to stop the car and he'll come back to get him. But then Murray, Ben's nemesis, hits him over the head with a paddle, shoves him in a boat, and basically almost pushes him over a waterfall. Luckily, Ben wakes up in time and then grabs onto an island right off the waterfall where he meets another one of his friends who isn't a spy but knows about all the spy stuff. That was another complicated part. They get everyone back together from Alaska, figure all that out, and then they figure out that the brother who originally kidnapped Ben is up to something with the diamond mine. So then they go to figure that out. Unfortunately, I don't want to say any more because it would completely spoil the story as much as I've already spoiled it. But, okay, now let's talk about characters. My favorite character is, of course, Ben, the main character, because, of course, the main character is always the favorite. But this one's special because they intentionally make the main character the most relatable. Because Ben he's not super good at anything. All of his other friends have either been practicing to be a spy literally since birth. Some of his friends just immediately caught on to all the spy stuff. His capability is really just in being smart. He's just really smart, and he manages to foil the plans of literally all the criminal masterminds, which is what happened in all of these books. So, now let's talk about a quotation that I think is good. Now, this quotation really helps to show just like the comedy aspect of these books, which is why I like a book. I like it to have a good story, but I also like it to have some good comedy. Hope you like my spam bookmark I'm using there. Shoot, my other bookmark fell out. I'll figure that out later. So, basically, in this quote, they have just figured out that they're in Africa. And Murray, Ben's nemesis, they need to walk around together in Africa. But Murray's really stupid, so, let's just read it. Murray sighed. Fine, we're in Africa. You know where in Africa? Oh, that's easy to figure out, I said. All you have to do is lick a rock. Every country in Africa has a different taste. Really? Like what? It depends. Zimbabwe is minty. Well, shoot, I don't know how to pronounce that. Another African country has a kind of lemon citrus flavor. Murray picked up a rock and tentatively licked it. This one just tastes like a rock. What country would that be? Tanzania? Really? No. I'm just messing with you. I have no idea where we are. Murray tossed the rock aside and glowered at me. That's not funny. They keep on going to argue. That happens a lot in this story, where those two characters argue about stupid things like that. But that just helps to show a kind of comedy aspect. Now I'm going to go over some moral or ethical issues with this book that some people might have. So, the brother that I was talking about, the brother of the other evil mastermind, his scheme involves using Chinese slave labor, which isn't great. It's just bad moral stuff. I'm not going to get into that too much because you can tell it's bad moral, ethical stuff when you are using Chinese slave labor. So, that's covered. Now, time for another quotation to finish it off. So, this is the one where the bookmark fell out. Found it. We have, this is a line, or this is a quote that I think is funny because they are looking to find water. They're super thirsty in Africa because they just got off a plane, haven't had anything to drink for a long time. So, they're looking for water, basically. Here we go. They're looking for water. And Ben just told Murray that the best way to drink water if you don't have any is that you can squeeze elephant poop and get water out of it. Okay, he was right. Finding elephant poop in Africa was like trying to find a tree in a forest. It was everywhere. We'd been wandering through minefields of it since leaving the concrete truck. They had stolen a concrete truck to get there. Only all the poop around us was dry. It needs to be fresh, I reminded Murray. Right, of course, because it needs to be as disgusting as possible for this plan to work. Murray peeked out from behind a tree at the elephants nearby. There we go. At that moment, an adult elephant lifted his tail and deposited a large, fresh pile of poop on the ground. This wasn't exactly a miracle of good timing. One more fun fact about elephants. They poop a lot. Because they don't digest their food very well, much of what they consume comes right out the other end. The elephant wandered off, leaving our potential water source unguarded. We slunk across the ground to it. I'm just going to stop there because this quote keeps going. But basically what ends up happening, Murray totally just squeezes the poop and drinks it. He's disgusted, and then he ends up finding a nice ice-cold bottle of water sitting next to a tree right there. I hope you enjoyed this video, whoever watched this, either Ms. Sugiyama or Mr. Robertson, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and maybe pick up this and read it. It's probably not great for you because you're adults, but it's a fun book for me, and I would recommend it to basically anyone between my age and like 10. Once again, have a good rest of your day, and see you in the next one, probably next year. Bye.